My guest today, ladies and gentlemen, is a dynamic, successful personality whose story is a case study for young entrepreneurs. I'm privileged and honored to bring to you the patriarch of Lohia Corporation, the chairman himself, Sri R.K. Lohia-ji. Today, Lohia Corp is the undisputed leader and pioneer of plastic machinery manufacture in India and one of the largest machinery manufacturer of woven sack in the world. Huge accomplishments have been possible due to the group's continuous emphasis on technology quality and innovation and backward integration. Lohia Group has done India proud. A very warm welcome to you, sir, and thank you for your time with us today.
Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you for inviting me. Uh, I would like to also thank my viewers that they are taking our time to share views with me. So, Nidhi, you go ahead with asking questions you would like to take.
Yes, sir.
So, just a small statement, not a matter of any ego or. We are today the largest producer of machinery in the world. We are not one of the largest.
Sir, I'm saying that with humility, thank you so much. I think this is something which my honor and my pride has become double. So you've really done India proud. So thank you. Thank you.
Another observation. India is not such a small country where such a small achievement will make the country proud. That could be your view. My view is that some small achievements should not make a country like India proud. We are just small bricks in a big, big wall. Okay, please go ahead.
Yes. So what was the inspiration to get into the woven fabric industry? And when you started long time back, did you ever dream that this is where you're going to reach, sir?
Look, Nidhi, I really actually started this concept in 1980. What inspired me at that time was to do something new, and what really I studied was that can the alternate packing or can the principal packing at that time, jute, fulfill the future needs of the country. So my analysis was that new jute mills can't be opened, cannot be started, and the jute crop will remain limited, and the cost of jute bags will be prohibitively high. So the alternative will have to develop, or will develop itself. So my family started making Vespa scooters in 1981. So I had to delay the project, and it started in 1983 end. Okay. Because I was involved very deeply in the Vespa project itself, Vespa project. So what I thought that it will reach to this level, I did not, because I had no world vision. How big is the industry worldwide? I had only one study, that alternative is jute, and jute will not develop. So I had only India vision at that time. So I would say, if you see that I had the project started with something like 100 looms a year. So I had no vision that it will go to this level. This particular project will go to this level. I will be wrong to say that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for honestly sharing that. My father, who's going to be watching this video, he's in Simla, and I wanted to share that he has driven your Vespa scooter. I remember we used to have a Vespa scooter at home, and he's going to be thrilled to be actually able to see that his daughter is speaking to the maker of the scooter.
No, I'm not giving so the whole family, two families. I'm only a part of it.
You're representing, sir.
I was very young at that time.
Sir, now you're supplying raffia machines to over 50% of the total countries in the world. That is 90 countries you're exporting. Total countries are 195, I just checked.
Yeah, but you see, there are all the raffia is not an industry which is run in rich countries. So normally, raffia is a product where the per capita income $20,000 or $25,000. Then they do not produce raffia. woven bags per se. Okay, carpet backing is also a part of, can say, woven plastic, but that's a different matter. But by and large, the bag production is confined to the countries which are which are having a per capita income of $25,000 below.
Okay, sir.
So and I we and I would I supply or we supply the machinery to roughly 90% of these this type of, maybe more than 90%, 95%. I would say that there would be no country in the world, barring one or two, I think none,
None.
which makes bags and we are not supplying machines.
So we've captured whatever the total market is. So
Capture the total market, enter total market.
entered the total market. How did you overcome? Because you must have faced a lot of difficulties, sir. We are talking to you now. Behind reaching this pinnacle, there must have been a lot of journey difficulties that you would have faced. What was the one thing that you really remember, which you kind of faced it and then you overcame?
India image. India is not seen as a machine producer by most of the world. So software brings us some respect, and the success of people like Anil Mittal outside India also brings respect, and the and the and the success of different CEOs in the world.
Yes.
Of large companies or large intelligent companies with in service industry like Citibank,
Yes.
or McKinsey at one time, Mr. Ajay Gupta, or today Mr. Pachai. These names, when people say them, they think that when we say them, people think that yes, India has a ability of doing high technology, but India is not seen as a machine producing country, and that was my biggest challenge.
Okay, sir. So Lohia Corp has become a model for backward integration and is renowned for focusing on technology as your USP. How you drive innovation in your company, sir?
Necessity. If I don't drive innovation, I will perish.
Okay. Okay. So necessity is the mother of invention, as you would say.
No, you see, you have to figure out whether if you don't do that, you will not survive. Then you do it.
Reaching a position is one thing, sir, and maintaining it, I think, requires a lot of effort also. So what related machinery you have developed internally and what technologies you kind of acquire? How do you make that decision?
You see, our original technology of two products, that was looms and extrusion lines and lamination machines were acquired from Europe in 1983 and 84. But for last 30 years, we have not acquired any technology from outside. Okay. All technologies were either developed inside, okay, or improved inside, and we were there. Few technologies were there where there were nobody, so there were concept development. So after 90 or 91, something like that. That was the last technology transfer agreement.
Okay, sir. So any plans to diversify? You already have such a huge plethora, but do you think that you would like to kind of have anything that's going on in your mind, which you think that, yes, this is one thing that I want to try?
The thing which excites me today is the consumer direct, like consumer products. But I don't think I have the energy to do that.
So you have energy there. We all know it. You have a tip of an iceberg, बहुत है, sir. But yes, you will decide.
Anyway, that's my view.
Yeah. So your marketing strategy has, what I've understood is that you let your product speak for itself. I've seen you only exhibiting at exhibitions. That is where people see the product, what you really brought to the market. What is your view on the changing paradigm nowadays with the marketing tools, like now the companies are going into the digital technologies, e-commerce, social media? आप उसको कितना महत्व देते हैं उसको?
देखिए, मैं बहुत ओल्ड स्कूल का आदमी हूँ, मैं उससे सबको समझता नहीं. But एक चीज मुझे समझ आई कि this new pandemic has made me friendly with Zoom calling and WebEx and things like that. So I think this is something which will happen or which is happening. But how it will change? Well, the exhibitions will have any role in the future, much less than what they are today. So what will future, how will we develop in future? I am not the right person to answer that because I am not there myself. The company is there. Everybody is thinking. Marketing is thinking. People, IT is thinking. But I am not one who understands that well and can contribute anything there. It will happen, this I can tell you.
I totally agree. So, आपने exhibitions का point लाया. I want to bring it here only that you've been very active and you've led such big exhibitions. What the Indian exhibition industry needs to do to reach to the level of K, and what is your view on the Indian exhibition industry?
You see, targeting to reach the level of K will not happen in the next 50 years.
50?
50 years. If you want reach the level of K. So K is already number 2 exhibition in the world, otherwise it will soon become. To my knowledge, it is, if China Plus would happen in Shenzhen, then it will definitely be number 1. I think it's already number 1 in terms of square meters. So India is a country where personal egos and ambitions are so high that the national interest take a very, very back seat. Very back seat. I have been watching the development of China Plus. And the first China Plus I saw was 2000. And at that time, it was 1/5 of the size of Plus India. 1/5, maybe less, maybe more, but not much different. Today, it is 3, 4, 5 times of India, Plus India. So in 2000, it was 20-25% of Plus India. Today, it is 300, 400, 500% of Plus India. I think more to 400 to 500. And the way they are developing, we have no infrastructure. There was not one exhibition ground in China which was anywhere comparable with Pragati Maidan. Today, Pragati Maidan is nowhere comparable to many exhibition grounds in China. And the whole country is fragmented. Whole exhibition sector is fragmented. My efforts to bring all the plastic under one roof failed miserably because of egos.
Understood, sir.
So unless as this happens, what can happen? Nothing. All nation first has national interest first has to be the core of everything. Core. When you do that, things will happen.
Thank you. Thank you for so honestly sharing that, sir. So, एक छोटी सी गुस्ताखी एक प्रश्न पूछती हूँ कि you make machines for and also manufacture SACs and FIBC. So, इसमें conflict of interest नहीं होता है?
So far we have not done it. We are starting a new unit, but there is no conflict of interest on that because our total production will not be 0.1% of of the world of my customer base, not 0.1.
Okay.
Much less than 0.1. So this is normal for any good machine builder to do. To have, you see, why we are doing is because we need to improve the machines. So far, we were putting our machines.
Understood.
We were putting our machines to our customers' place and trying to monitor it, trying to develop it. But that has a limitation.
Understood.
You cannot. Your customer plant is not your plant, and we are not the only one. See, many people in textile do that. Like my main competitor in the world is Sterlinger. They have a woven bag unit, large woven bag unit, and that is also for them is very important for development. So a very, very close relationship with machine use brings technology up, and we understand the defects, we understand spare part consumption. All that is very necessary. I'm not doing it for reason of business. I am doing it for the reason of my machinery business.
That very well taken. Very well taken. So raffia industry is very important, actually growing with 2 million metric tons per annum. How do is it more?
2.5.
2 point?
So you are what you are calculating is the polymer consumption in India.
Yes, yes.
But 20% is calcium filler use. So that makes it approximately 2.5
Understood, sir.
million.
So how do you see the future of the raffia sector in India for, the balance of the year and the next year?
See, raffia is collected with food and agriculture, or agriculture and food.
Correct.
So what pandemic has shown that while the economy has gone down worldwide, and I actually on 4th of March, I declared in I addressed a meeting inside the company, I said, what is happening, I did not know, I didn't use the word pandemic, I had never experienced it. I said, what is happening will be this biggest calamity after the Second World War. And I
4th
said
of
that
March. 4th of March.
4th of March, yes. So I also said that the width will be higher, but it will touch across the world, but the impact will not be as deep as the Second World War. But I am wrong. The impact is also very strong, because Second World War was really not a world war. 80% of the world was not even touched by it. No, nothing in America, nothing in real way in half of the Africa. So Second World War was what? Europe, Japan, little bit of South Asia, little bit of South Asia, little bit of Middle East and here and there. So I would say if you see geographically, 80% of the world was not touched. So how it was the Second World War? It was a war in the ruling community. That was named Second World War. They were the rulers. So say if we are at fight, it's a world war.
सही बोल रहे हैं sir. Correct.
So world war थी ही नहीं. We are so slave in our mind that we started calling it also Second World War.
Yeah, angle
we are slaves.
Yeah. I've read in history the Second World War. This angle we never saw. That actually
it was not a Second World War. World War means at least 80% word should be covered. Na? Correct. So anyway, that's something. So the agriculture and food will grow. Service is dead. Dead for some time. That service means not internet, like say tourism, hotel industry. Yeah. I just saw 2 days back, 2 restaurants were closed and they were winding up because there's no rest, so they cannot pay the rent. So the economy will go down, but one has to understand which part of economy is going down.
So infrastructure also, a lot of your bags go into cement and all that also.
Yes. You see, infrastructure is in India, the main consumption of cement is not so much infrastructure, but also housing. Infrastructure will be government driven. I have never been a participant of a thought process that infrastructure should only be made by private sector. Worldwide infrastructure development in developing world has been done by government. Mr. Manmohan Singh ruined the country by stopping the infrastructure development and thinking that it will be done by private sector. I always say that his people say that he opened the country. I said he did something good, but overall the impact on negatives was much higher. Infrastructure investment was completely closed. It was only Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee who started it. So infrastructure will be led by government. So how much they invest will time.
Yes, understood. So how can India capture the market share in FIBC as well as Goldman Sachs globally? You mentioned earlier that you've entered, but how do we capture? Because you have...
No, hold on, Nidhi. India is the largest exporter of FIBC in the world.
Correct.
And when I say largest, means by far the largest.
Huge gap.
There is no second. For FIBC export, there is no second. India is by far the largest FIBC exporter, and the only plastic product which in a way has much larger export than China is the raffia FIBC. As far as the small bags are concerned, it's a very, very competitive industry, and more or less it will not be a big export anyway.
Okay, so sustainability is at the center stage in India and across the world also. Many producers have in-house reprocessing plants. Majorly, there will be Arima, NGR, some Chinese plants, Taiwan Polystar is there. Issue is for the end users. They are widely distributed construction sites and individual dwellings. How do we process the waste from these end users sites for bags as well as FIBC?
You see, the end user plastic is normally not, unless it is very thin, it is recycled in India. So I have not seen any raffia product loitering on the roads and not being picked up. It's not loitering on the roads. It is reused, and at one point of time it is reprocessed. So for this reason, we have developed a recycling machine, and it is performing extremely well. With a customer side which has a European machine, and it is that product is better than that our competitors' machine. So the recycling will be the answer. See, you pick up from every place, and this business of picking up the plastic employs millions of people.
So you're also coming up with the recycling machines for raffia. You're producing yourself.
We have sold our first machine already.
Okay, excellent. So the government has taken out the EPR guidelines. They've given the industry some timeline for 31st July. Have you had a chance to look at it or any views on that yet? Not yet.
Explain me the EPR, then I can tell you whether I have.
Because I have understood.
I would like to know what is EPR.
Badhiya, sir. Bilkul badhiya. What is your guidance for the Indian plastic machinery manufacturers, sir? They should look at which export markets and which segments, sir.
You see, you can do anything because India has a very strong history of plastic machinery. If you go back to 1990, India was ahead of Japan in at least in extrusion machinery. Japan was always ahead of injection molding, and China was not there at all. So today, if we compare then with China, and if you take the raffia out, we are not there at all. So in 1990, India in most of the industry was ahead of China. Today, China, other than very few, very few, way ahead of India. So Indians will have to see that what has made them successful in some industries and why they have not been successful in other industries. And once you stop imports of a product, when you stop import of a product, then only you can start exporting that product. As long as a product is imported in a country in a big way, you just can forget that it can be exported from that country. Because we in India as a nation are used to, historically we were used to use Indian products.
Correct.
From the industrial point of view, India was no comparison. China was no comparison. Where was China? We were making aircrafts. I think Mr. Walchand Hirajan started HAL way back in 1938. We started making cars in 1945-46. Look at railways, look all the products. Injection molding, Engel started in 1955 in India. China would have not known the word injection molding. Today, a company in China is making $1.5 billion turnover in injection molding. At his country, there would be roughly $4 billion turnover for all plastic machinery. And our turnover is 4,000 crores. That makes it against 30,000, 4,000 what? 50%. So you have to make a quality product and you have to have a quality service and don't do many things. Focus on one, two, three things. That's all.
You've set an example for that, sir. Niche and
No, no.
focused on
You
that
see,
and make
no,
it.
there are very good company. I would say I rate personally. I have been to my different companies, and personally, if I have to rate which is the best company in India in terms of plastic machinery, I will immediately say this company in Nisai.
Okay. Hmm. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Nisai, this
Is-
Japanese company.
Yes, is.
They are in ASB. They are by far the best in India. We are not. We are not.
Understood, sir. So we all need to do a SWOT ourselves, sir. There's a lot of history behind, और अपना थोड़ा अंदर झांकने की जरूरत है, and then we'll come to know. Understood, sir. Sir, I've heard about the Lohia Training Center. जब हम आएंगे सर कानपुर तो हम बहुत देखना चाहेंगे, लेकिन that is your brainchild. And how do you think it has benefited the industry from all perspectives, sir? Because it's something new.
For industry. It was started for industry. The problem is that Rafia is a very, very manpower intensive industry.
Correct.
Very manpower. High. I would say in plastic there is no comparison of. It's like textile. So it has a yarn making, it has a weaving, it has conversion. Exactly textile operation. Yarn, weaving, conversion.
Conversion, correct.
So the general problem with the whole of my customer base was that they were not getting trained manpower. And this was being discussed. I am very involved with the industry right from the time I started, because I started at this zero level, almost at zero level of industry. There are very few companies, in India, 18, they're making bags on flat looms. So total production was maybe 15,000 tons a year. So I have a lot to. I have a very large family, and that family is producer of bags in the country. And this problem was always there. So I thought, look, I am sitting in Kanpur, which used to be industrial capital, but no more. But this is also a hub of a very large population around here, which don't get employment and they have to go outside. So I am sitting in the center of a state which has more than 22, 23 crore population. And Kanpur is almost in the center. So I say if I take 200 kilometers radius, it is at least 10, 12 crore people. And it's not such a very great industry there. So I need to provide industry employment to them. And my customer industry needs people, trained people. And normally they are employing people from villages. They have not seen any machine in their life. So why not to start in a training center where I can employ village boys from village. It's all there in India. So I had to employ only boys, and then let me train them, and then offer it to industry. So we are training. We have a vision of reaching 5,000 children a year, and they are going all over the world. India, they are being employed in Indian companies. They are going to Middle East. They are going to Africa. I think some have gone. A few have gone to South America. So that's how that has been benefit industry.
What a beautiful example, sir. So this pandemic did not provide any issues because of the manpower, because all your factories would require. Kuch problem nahi aayi?
I have only local manpower.
Achha.
I have only white collar jobs. I'm say at a senior levels and mid-senior levels, mid-management level, who are from outside.
Understood.
So they all live there with the family. Also, my foreign employees are also, European employees are also living with the family. So this is not a problem. So we had no issue. We had issues with our suppliers all over the country and in the world, because the transportation stopped. The factories of my suppliers around the country stopped. So like in West, in some in South, some in NCR. But so that was the challenge, but not our company.
Okay. So you've never thought about going public?
Why?
No, never.
Why? Why should I?
They say that the growth, I mean, not that you require any more growth, but it's subjective, that exponential growth happens when you go public. This is what I've understood.
No. You see, we require growth, and my growth has not been very high. It's very low. But going public today is a lot of responsibility. And you go public only if you really want to make a big project, and you cannot have cash for that. I do not go for a big project. I don't like large investments. Focused on investment model, and we have gone far more on investment-led investment. India is not a country which has a lot of money. We have not printing machines. Printing machines exist only in the United States, Europe, and Japan. We have printing machines for printing plastic, newspapers.
Correct.
Our money is not the world money. The world is being ruled by these three blocks who have the capability of printing money unlimited.
Correct.
And we consider that as in the world as a real money. All other money is considered the fake money by outside. So these are the challenges for the world, and we don't have that type of money. Look how much stimulus we could give per capita, and how much stimulus could be given by Europeans and Americans.
Yeah.
And look at America; that's such a deficit country. So so we don't have really money. We have to become China, earn money, not the hot money which comes in the stock markets and debt markets.
Well understood, sir.
And then we should look for investment. Investment is required for developing other industry. Not investment is just for investment.
Understood, sir. So finally, what would you kind to give advice to our Indian plastic entire fraternity at this difficult time?
Times are not so difficult. Let me put it this way. For industry, times are not so difficult. Times are difficult for nation, for the poor. So my advice to plastic, I'm not a plastic processor, so I cannot give advice. There are people like Mr. Taparia who can give advice, not me. People like Mr. Taparia, Mr. Ashok Chaturvedi, or a lot of you, Mr. Jindal, who are really dealing with plastic. I'm not dealing with plastic. I'm dealing with machinery.
But I'm saying generally, to the whole industry, what would be your advice be, sir? Have you share your thoughts and guidance to all of us? This session has been very special. I have been requesting for a very long time, and finally I saw success. You always speak from the heart. I've heard that. Today I've actually experienced it. और ये से एकदम दिल को छूता है, बिल्कुल साफ बात करते हैं. We will really look forward to see you soon again in whatever form. And I'm going to really thank you, sir. बहुत आभार, आपका बहुत धन्यवाद.
So Nidhi, let me give you thanks back. Thank you for the giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir.